All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Take 7,000.
You know how when you turn on the news sometimes and the people are looking down and then they're like, hello.
Oh, I'm on camera.
Sometimes I feel like that when we started these things.
Today's episode, 7 fitness tips that take no extra time.
That's right.
This is coming out around Christmas. Nobody's got extra time for all this stuff right now. We want to get in shape. We want to stay in shape with the existing time we have. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to, instead of like creating more time out of thin air, like some Big Bang Theory stuff or something. Sponsor for the day. We are sponsored by none other than Delicata Squash.
Sweet. I was just looking for some in the store and I couldn't find any. Do y'all know what these are?
We just discovered these 3-4 years ago, probably.
I mean, the only place we've ever found them is Trader Joe's. And we use the app. I was using the app for our grocery store, HEB, and they said they had them. And I was like scouring the store and they didn't have them. So we've only found them at Trader Joe's, but they're like a very hard, like kind of more like an acorn squash, like.
But they're like a tube shape.
But they're like they look like the size of like a yellow or green squash, and they have stripes on the side, and they are delicious. Like he made some in the air fryer, and I'm like craving them. I'm like, we have to have more of those.
And they're so easy. Like literally, you just cut the thing in half long ways, scoop out the guts, then slice that into these little half moon shapes. You can do this roast them in the oven or in the air fryer. Just like spray them with a little bit of cooking spray, sprinkle some kosher salt on, and boom.
Yeah.
They're like eating candy, man.
I mean, when you're like holding one or something, I would never think that you could eat the outside, of it.
The skin.
But it comes out like really soft, like in the air fryer.
I bet there's some people who don't eat the skin. I don't even know if we're supposed to, but by the time you cook it, it tastes really good.
It's kind of like a pumpkin. If you were just like
it is like a pumpkin.
Like chop up a pumpkin. Would you eat pumpkin? I mean, you eat the skin of like yellow squash.
Yeah, that's true.
You eat the skin of like acorn squash.
Yeah, we're not cooks. We don't know if we're doing this right. We just know that
they're delicious.
They're delicious.
Another thing that you can put in the air fryer that we've been doing a lot of are those like those bags of like little tiny potatoes. Mm-hmm. And we actually got a package of frozen at Trader Joe's, and he scooped the recipe, and we've been making them for ourselves now. Like air fryer, what do you put on them, Rose?
I put kosher salt. Well, first of all, I quarter them and I put them in a Ziploc bag with some oil, and then kosher salt, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, and thyme, and then shake the whole thing up. Air fry them at 400 for like 15, 17 minutes, something like that, and they start to get a little bit crispy. If you put a lot in there in the air fryer, you might have to stir it up occasionally, otherwise only the ones on the top will get crispy.
But it's the seasonings, because we were doing these before we got the frozen bag, and we weren't putting all those seasonings on them, and they are so much better with like those specific flavors that you're putting on right now.
If you're living a life and not seasoning your food, what are you even doing out there? Come on, that's where the magic. That's why restaurant food tastes so good.
Yeah.
Like besides all the butter they put on, which I think we're going to talk about in today's episode. It's because they put a lot of salt and seasoning on there. Right. So get jiggy on it.
Okay, before we start. We got
all kinds of announcements.
We've been putting out a couple extra like fun, maybe we say fun. You probably might not think they're fun. Just like dumb YouTubes. Like we'll be like in the gym and working out. But we're in those YouTubes. We're talking about like some training tips and things. So if you have time, check it out. They're like 10 minutes or less. It might be like a little challenge, me versus him doing a workout. I'm always going to win, but whatever. There's just some fun stuff on there. So. And you might find some tips and stuff.
/Digital Barbell. We'll put a link to our channel in the show notes.
Stop interrupting.
Sorry.
But anyway, yesterday I announced that we're personally going to do a little challenge for ourselves in December. We are going to start in 2024. We're going to start challenges again with our members. So we're doing like a bonus little December one for ourselves and inviting anybody that wants to do it as well. So what we're doing is we are going to run 15 miles in December. Maybe this sounds like, people are like, I can run 15 miles tomorrow. Yeah, we're not runners. I will run if it's in the workout, but I don't ever like run independently of that. Don't enjoy running, blah, 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 blah. Don't feel like I'm very good at running. And so this is something I was just like 15 miles. So that's like, 4 miles a week. And this is independent of any running that's in workouts or anything like that. So I think I think it's pretty good.
Our friend Carlos is like, so what's the workout going to be? That sounds like a good warm up. 15 miles.
That's what I'm saying. Like for a lot of people, 15 miles in December is ridiculous sounding, but for us, like that, I think it's going to be a pretty good challenge. So
it's not even really like that much of a physical challenge for us to run the mile, but it's like this is something we don't really love doing. It's a mental challenge to do it. Plus, we're going to do the
polar plunge.
We're going to do this 5K / polar plunge on January 1st here in our town, where you run a 5K and then you literally jump in the creek, which I don't think that creek gets really, really cold for some reason. It's kind of constant temperature all year.
January 1st. I don't think it's a constant temperature. I think it's going to be cold.
Well, it is going to be cold, but I don't think it's going to be like 33 degrees or anything like that.
Texas.
So we're training for that. That's what we're doing with a little bit of mindset if we need a little motivation to
this week we've been so far we've each done 2 miles. Like 1 mile, I did a mile after my workout yesterday. He did a mile before his workout. Eventually I want to get to where we're stringing a few miles together.
You made me a little bit nervous yesterday because I did my mile before my warm up, and then I had heavy squats, and you were like, "Oh man, last time I ran my mile and the squats, my legs were tired." But I had a great squat workout, felt stronger than a long time on them.
Good.
Training has been going really good for me. You didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you.
Good.
Got a little bit of shoulder pain creeping up on me in my right shoulder, so I have to really be careful because this is very similar to the pain that sidelined me for like 6 months last year, and I don't want that to happen again. So I'm playing it smart. I'm saying it out loud here on the podcast that I'm not going to be stupid. I'm going to adjust my training, make sure I don't make it worse, and take advantage of as many leg gains as I can in the meantime too. How's your training going?
You need to be doing some crossover symmetry work on
kinds of this action
in our warm-ups, because we got these bands. We used to use them at my gym, and they are fantastic for rehabbing shoulders or just strengthening the smaller muscles of our
all that
body.
rotator cuff action.
My training is going great. I'm currently doing our 8-week physique program, and I've been testing it. So my plan is to add volume as we go along, and we've done that. Started out at like 3 sets. We're dabbling in 4 sets for a lot of things, and I've been doing 5 sets, timing my workouts, making sure that I can still get it in a decent amount of time. Every workout literally is for some reason, it's like 55 minutes. So I think I'm doing a good job of writing these workouts, and because they all are coming out about the same time. But all that to say, Physique 2.0 is going to be dropping. So if you're currently doing the Physique program, stay tuned, because you're going to be able to roll right into Physique 2.0. And my plan with that is to just add some volume so that we can continue to make the gains. Because I've really been seeing a lot of strength progress in this workout that I titled Physique.
You're constantly like, man, I got more reps this week. I went up to this.
Things like my dumbbell rows, like flies, curls, all the important things.
Right.
But so both programs are going to be dropping on January the 2nd. Physique 1.0 again. So it's an 8-week program. We sell an uncoached and a coached version. Well, you can find all the info on the website. And then also, if you've already done 1.0, you can roll into 2.0.
I don't think we have the web page live.
Yeah, but we're going to be dropping it on the website soon. And if you're not on our email list, get on our email list, because we send out promo, like
you'll have
the first shot
to or if
to
there's
get
any
in.
discount available, you'll be able to grab that if you're on our email list. So the program starts on January 2nd, so we will open up registration before that. And like you said, our email list will know about that first. So
right after Christmas. Let's go.
I will put a link to how to get on our email list in the show notes for this episode too.
All right.
Anything else we want to get into?
I guess we should do this podcast.
I wish there was like a timer on this thing that showed how long it's been.
It's been 30 minutes. All right, 7 fitness tips that take no extra time. Keep that in mind as we're going through these. No extra time. Okay, the first one is going to be to skip and swap liquid calories.
I love a good swap.
This is so personally. I would recently, whenever the pumpkin spice lattes dropped,
the PSLs.
We were camping actually up in Round Rock at the Rogue Invitational, and I was like, "Oh, pumpkin spice lattes are out! It's October. I'm gonna go get my first one." And I went to Starbucks, and it came with like whip and I don't know, some sort of syrup.
Foam.
No, whip. And then
drizzle?
like drizzle, whip and drizzle.
For shizzle.
And I was like, no on that. And that's just like, it took me no extra time, but it saved, I don't even know, probably at least 150 calories or something from that delicious PSL. Also, my little trick, what I've been doing is if I get a latte with some Flava, I go quarter sweet.
Yeah.
And it is just as sweet. Like, I'm like, how could these be like this sweet if a quarter sweet is that tasty?
Because
what is full sweet?
Next time you're at a coffee shop,
full test.
Be a little bit nosy and look at the syrups that they have.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're up at the front where you order. Those things are like 90 to 100 or more calories per pump.
And she told me, she goes, are you sure you want quarter sweet? It's only one pump. We usually put 4. I was like, oh yeah. You can even like go less on the pump if you want.
So go ahead, get your pumpkin spice lattes. But if you want to stay on track, keep your fitness prioritized with no extra time, just tell them to cut down on the amount of calories that they're putting in there. Another place a lot of calories can sneak in as far as liquids go are things like juices, kombuchas. Swap those things out for fizzy water, for tea, for mocktails made with, zero alcohol, non-sweetened things. Easy way to save calories, keep you from gaining weight, especially this time of year. Okay, there's going to be a lot of guys who are mad at me for saying this one, but choose, and not that women don't drink beer too, but I see men do this a lot, or don't do this a lot. Choose lower alcohol percentage beers. Those 7%, 8%, 9% IPAs that you say taste so good and you really just want to get drunk off of one beer, those can have 250 calories per versus 100 calories for a 4% Light Sky, or God forbid, a Bud Light.
Anyway, what was that thing? Michelob Ultra?
Michelob Ultra, 94 calories, something like that. Is it as, quote, delicious as those other options? No. But we're talking about trade-offs that you can make that don't take any extra time, that will keep your fitness, your weight, your body composition in check. All those little things. Skip and swap out the liquid calories. It takes no extra time. Takes a little bit of willpower, a little bit of habit building, but easy peasy.
Easy peasy. Yeah. And yeah.
All right. That's done.
All right. Number 2, lift the right weights and use progressive overload.
Yeah. The point is, a set of X number of reps that isn't productive takes actually more time than a set that's done as a hard set that actually challenged you and made you stronger, helped you make progress.
Yeah,
it takes no extra time to pick the right weight for the exercise that you're doing and get a good workout.
We say this all the time. It's the benefit of having a coach, someone that can see you move. But if you pick up your weights and you're like 1, 2, 3, and you're like 10, 11, 12, and they all look the same and like nothing happens and you just set them down, that's probably not the right weight for you, and you might just be wasting time if you're doing the same exercise, but you're using the proper weights. 1, 2, 3, and then by the time you're like 8, 9, you're not going to go to failure. But we can tell that that's getting tough. You're using the right weight.
It was productive.
It was productive. It was a productive set.
Yeah. The point isn't to take no extra time in your workout by just like rushing through the thing.
Right.
That doesn't give you the same effect as doing the actual work.
As you walk over to the dumbbell rack at your gym or at your home space, picking out the right weights is what's going to take no extra time.
Exactly. And a little bit of I'll sneak this one in, if you're really limited on time, do lifts that give you a big bang for the buck. Do less tricep kickbacks and do more pressing where you're involving a lot more muscle mass. Do more bent over rows with a barbell versus curls, because not only you work in the bicep in a bent over row, you're working your back, the backs of your shoulders, all that kind of stuff. So you can
like a close grip dumbbell bench, or close grip bench press. You're going to work both your chest and your triceps. Just things that are going to
It takes no extra time to work multiple muscles at the same time versus isolation. If you got time for all of it, go for it. But if you are trying to make more out of the same amount of time, then use compound
And we
reps.
talked about, and we said, and use progressive overload. So what that means is like adding weight once you have like tapped out at the end of that hard set.
Yeah, like it takes no extra time to know what you did last week and do more, challenge yourself to do more this week. That is not only how you're the only way you're going to get stronger, build muscle, and look better naked. It doesn't take any extra time to use progressive overload. If your program is doing 3 sets of 10 with the same weight week after week after week, you're just wasting your time. You could use that same time, get stronger every week, and actually see your body change, see your strength change, see your muscles grow, see them triceps popping.
The key to this is you just have to know what you've done by keeping track of it. Keep track of it in an app or keep track of it in a notebook, but know what you did last time, know how many know what weight you used, and know how many reps you did, so that you know if it's time to add weight or not.
Yep. or just hire us and we'll help you with it.
All right. Number 3, order and shop smart.
This is a big one.
Okay.
Let's talk about a few of the highlights of what it looks like to order and shop smart.
All right. So order, I'm assuming, is like ordering at a restaurant, shopping at the grocery store.
Again, going back to the title of this, 7 fitness tips that take no extra time. I want you to get your stopwatch out. You ready?
3, 2, 1.
Fried chicken. How long did that take?
3, 2, 1.
Grilled chicken. Okay. The point is here, it takes no extra time to say the healthier option, the lower calorie option. So you can't use that as an excuse. I don't have time to eat healthy. Use the time that you have to make smart choices. What that looks like in real life is choose lean proteins almost all the time. Almost all the time. That just means the time that you have a really non-lean protein, like a big, greasy, juicy hamburger, or you hit the all-you-can-eat sausage buffet. That's not very often.
Those are rarities.
That barely ever happens. Almost all the time you're eating lean protein. Yeah. What's the benefit of lean protein? Why is it so much better? Well, number one, it has more protein in it, and it has less calories. Yeah. So if you're trying to get fit without a lot of extra effort, choosing lean protein does those two major things. Bumps up your total protein for the day, which gives you the power to actually change your body composition, assuming you're doing the training that you're supposed to do. And it keeps you from overeating calories, which is the only thing that causes people to gain weight. So boom, it's an easy one right there. What are lean proteins? Chicken breast, turkey breast, lean pork, egg whites, all that kind of stuff. There's probably some that I'm forgetting, but I want to keep this thing rolling, not name every meat known to man. If the point is, if you cook it, there's a bunch of grease left in the pan. That was not a lean protein. Skip that one next time. The good thing about this too is almost every restaurant does have a lean protein source on the menu. Maybe it's not the most succulent sounding thing with like the most adjectives used in the description of it, but there's this place that we like to go to. If you've ever been to this area, you probably know about it. Hayes City Store. It's bumping all the time. Probably like everybody says the best chicken fried steak and chicken fried chicken in the world. The nachos, the pizza, the burgers are outstanding. But guess what? It's also on the menu. Grilled chicken.
It is real good.
And it is really good.
Yeah.
The point is, like, if you want to get fit, you want to stay fit and not spend a lot of extra time, make the hard decision in the moment to order smart.
Right. And it all comes down to what's your objective for that thing. Like most of the time when we go to Hayes, we're going out with groups of people, we have people visiting or something. We're not like, we're going out for burgers. Like it's not like having a chicken fried steak is the objective of that evening. We're not like, but the objective of that evening is to hang out with people. So like ordering the grilled chicken there, we still enjoyed the people. We still got the experience. Like we just didn't come back with a stomach ache. And
I'll order my low calorie Bud Light to go with it if I want to. Not the Hopadillo. It's,
All right.
30% alcohol.
So now let's go to the grocery store.
Hold on. No, there's one other thing I want to bring up about restaurants. Save time, stay fit, save time by skipping sauteed and fried options. I already brought up the difference between grilled and fried chicken, but a lot of people don't realize how many extra calories are added to sauteed food. Basically, anything that's cooked on a flat top griddle at a restaurant is going to be, they're going to spray that entire griddle down with oil before they start cooking, or butter. And they're probably going to add more as it's cooking too. And they might even finish it off with a little bit of butter.
Let's link that podcast that you did with JC from Dandelion. Okay. Because he is a chef and he gave all the dirty deets about what restaurant, why restaurants make the food so tasty.
Bottom line is,
actually, they were on Good Morning America, so y'all should listen to this.
They've blown up. Good for them. Easily 300, 500 calories added to the food that you eat if you go with a sauteed option. And I don't think I have to convince you that taking a piece of meat or a vegetable and dropping it into a pile of grease and pulling it back out once or twice is adding a lot of calories to it. Right? And not to mention the saturated fat, which is terrible for your heart. So anyway,
all right,
skip the sauteed and fried things. It takes no extra time. Just takes a little bit of discipline.
Yeah, I think shopping smart, same kind of thing. You're in the grocery store, shop smart. By number one, you got the two meats there. You're like, okay, this one's 75% lean. This one's 90% lean. It takes no extra time, which one you're going to grab. Right. And also shopping smart can mean like not bringing home things that are tempting to you at the, like filling the house with like bowls of candy. If candy is a trigger for you, but you just think it's a thing that you should have around during the holidays. Like there's, all the things like that.
If you binge it, don't buy it.
Yeah. All right, you have another note here about some recipes.
Here's a tip that takes no extra time. Avoid recipes at all costs. I just put a post about this on Instagram this week, but by the time you get through reading this person's, family history and like the story about their dog and how much it loved this recipe, you're like, so just, you don't care about this thing and you just like order a pizza or order DoorDash. My sister, God bless her, I know she'll listen to this episode, but she's always looking for new recipes, single, lives by herself, cooking for one. She works a lot. She comes home, she's exhausted, and like, there's nothing to eat, and she's forced with looking at this recipe that she downloaded, like, oh shoot, I don't have all the ingredients for this. This is going to take forever. It's going to make more than I want to eat. There's going to be so many leftovers. It's exhausting. We don't follow recipes. I mean, rarely, if it's a special occasion or we're making grandma's,
this whatever. This is like everyday stuff. This is not like if you want to cook a recipe on the weekends, if you want to, there's always time for these recipes. There's always time to get the burger, all these things. Right. This is like fitness tips that take no extra time for most of the days of your life.
Yeah. So instead of thinking in terms of recipes and like meal prep and that kind of stuff, think in terms of ingredient prep.
Yeah.
What 2 or 3 proteins can you bulk prepare once or twice a week? What 3 carb sources can you bulk prepare?
Yeah. But the benefit of this is like you make a bunch of chicken, you make a bunch of rice, you make a bunch of potatoes, you have vegetables and things in your refrigerator. Monday, you eat chicken and potatoes. Tuesday, you're like Taco Tuesday. You get a tortilla, you shred that chicken up, you put it in the chicken, you get some salsa, you make it a taco. Wednesday, you want to make it like a Chinese food dish. You put the rice, you put some soy sauce, you season that chicken in a different way. Thursday comes around, you want barbecue, you get barbecue sauce, you shred up the chicken, you put it on a bun. Like you can like have a variety. And I think that's what people think about when they're like, oh, you're just gonna eat the same thing every day. No, you have these ingredients prepared and you can make these things.
Yeah.
Make them taste however you want. Just like we were talking about with the seasonings on the potatoes. Yep. Like you can make things tasty, you can make things taste different ways, but it's just like all about being prepared, and like being prepared helps you just like make the right choices right then. Like instead of being like, I am way too tired for this, let me order a pizza tonight.
Man, drop the mic. Testify.
All right. Number 4, have a plan for your workouts.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, like if I ever walk in for some reason, like if I don't have a plan that day,
y'all don't want to be around.
I get so frustrated, and it takes so much longer. It takes a long time to figure out what you want to do, because it's not like like, okay, what can I do? What do I want to do? Blah blah blah.
It might take like 30. It's
frustrating, honestly.
It takes forever to get started.
Yeah.
It's a big waste of time.
Yeah. Having a plan, we give, if you haven't worked with Digital Barbell, download one of our freebies, because we give a warm up. We give, how you should warm up for each like little lift. We get how you should warm up for the workout, the conditioning piece. Like it's all planned out there for you. Yeah. Time domains. Like if you just know what to do, if you have the list, just like, planning for anything, it just saves time.
Yeah. This is one of the most common pieces of feedback we've gotten from clients recently, is that they just love knowing exactly what to do. It makes their workouts more efficient. Mm-hmm. They get better results, and it takes no extra time to invest in a plan for what you're going to do in the gym. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes with your nutrition.
Yeah. Like when I owned the gym, it was like always this thing to like announce the workout just the day before, because it was like blog style back then, like it was it came out on the blog. So like 7 p.m. you post the blog for the next day. But it's like it was cool. People got excited to see what the workout was, but they also had a plan. They knew what to bring with them to the gym. Were we going to do rope climbs? Did they need long socks? Like, whatever they need, their lifting shoes because we were doing back squats that day. Just you're prepared.
Having a plan also lets you look ahead in your workout and know what you're going to do next, so you can kind of get ready for it.
Yes.
I know we did a whole episode on saving time during your workouts, and that's one of the most valuable things you can do if you want to get more out of your time is, let's say you're doing back squats and you see that you have dumbbell rows coming up. Get your bench set up, get your dumbbell over to your station, do a couple warm-up sets with light weight. Boom, as soon as you finish your squats, you're right into your dumbbell rows, not,
I appreciate people that look ahead. Thank you, Justin Green, because I had programmed the rest of the physique workouts and I accidentally dropped the women's into the men's, and he knew it. Because he looks ahead, thank goodness, and he noticed. Does. And I was like, oh man, you saved me. Thank you.
That's a great point to bring up about the 8-week physique program, is that you write a men's and women's track where there's more arm
and a
chest.
masters. There's 3 tracks of
That's
physique.
Right, yeah.
Men's, women's, and masters for,
So the women's track has more leg and glute volume, and the men's has more chest and arm volume in it, and the masters has more golf in it. I'm just kidding.
Just like no lunges.
Yeah.
Not excessive on the sit-ups.
No handstand push-ups.
All right. We're getting off track here. Number 5, use your warm-ups to accumulate training volume. This is great. I mean, saving time. Yes. Don't skip your warm-ups to save time. Number 1, you need these warm-ups to like get your body temperature up, to move through ranges of motions. It's very dangerous to just like be like, I'm sitting at a desk. Now I'm ready to squat. Let's pop all my weights on the bar and like, let's go. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, like you just said, another super bonus of warm-ups is you get all this bonus volume. Like my general warm-ups for my clients and myself is maybe like a light stretch, like a Samson stretch or a couch stretch or something like that. Sometimes it'll be like a 400-meter jog. Sometimes it'll be jumping jacks, anything like that. And then it's like 2 to 3 rounds of air squats, push-ups, some sit-ups or something. And just think, if you every day you did a warm-up that involved like 20 to 30 push-ups, if like push-ups is something you struggle with, how much stronger are you going to be on push-ups?
Than if you
over
foam
a few
rolled
months.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And these warm-ups take around that 5-minute mark.
Yeah.
So
I like this one. Another way that you can use this same principle to your advantages, if you're trying to bring up one particular body part, like right now I'm trying to work ironically on my shoulders more. That's going to take a little bit of a back seat. But anyway, using some of your warm-up time to do like a bunch of lateral raises in your warm-up, you can sneak in more training volume while doing all those things, getting your body temperature up, getting your joints ready. So sneak some training volume into your warm-up if you want to get more with no extra time.
Exactly. All right. Number 6, use 15 minutes of your lunch break to go for a walk. Actually, this is my aunt came over for Thanksgiving, and she was telling us about a step challenge that her gym did, and it was like accumulate. We might steal this idea.
300,000
300,000 steps in a month, which is like I think 10,000 steps a day. And in order to do this, she works a desk job. They both go to the gym regularly, but she would like she has an hour-long break, and she would usually sit at her desk and do something during her lunch break, just sitting. So she would eat lunch faster and then go for like a 15 or 20-minute walk to get those extra steps in.
You could even like use a sandwich for your lunch and you could eat it while you walk.
Well, I mean, I think it's great. Like, I think when I worked at Rice, I used to do that. Like I'd be sitting all day. I didn't want to sit for lunch. Me and my friend would like either just like go walk around campus, and we have that time anyway. Let's just like do something and move.
Yep.
We get something at the student center and walk back and eat it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I looked it up. The average person takes like between 100 and 120 steps per minute when walking at like a moderate pace. So that 15-minute walk could be like an extra 1,650 steps. I mean, a lot of my nutrition clients, we track steps because we use that as a lever to kind of pull for fat loss and for health. And 1,600 steps added to their goal for the day, boom, that pushes you over the top a lot of times. So 15 minutes really does matter.
It really does, especially if it's something you're not doing right now. Just adding those 15 minutes in. You can walk a mile. Like when we walk the dogs on just a leisurely pace, it's about 20 or 21 minute mile with them sniffing on everything.
Yeah, that's a big waste of time.
But no, I mean, but you can walk almost a mile in that amount of time is what I'm saying.
For sure. If you're just hustling and you have some intent, I think most people can accumulate about 2,000 steps walking a mile. So I mean, there's huge health benefits to walking too. Like if you can go for a walk after a meal, you increase insulin sensitivity, you can have improved digestion. Regular walking can help regulate hunger.
Good for mindset. Like,
for sure.
Like,
now,
crazy.
I do heart health, of course.
Yeah.
I will say though that be careful because it can be a slippery slope when you take up a walking habit to enjoy it so much that you might be tempted to substitute it for your training, being like, I'm not going to have time to train, but I'll walk. No. Walking is great for tons of different reasons. Do it all the time, but it is not a substitute for resistance training, and it's not a substitute for high intensity conditioning. Yeah. So throw that out there
on a regular basis. Like when we go camping, if we're like camping and we're doing things, we're like, I got to get some activity in. We don't have any, we can't do anything else. Let's at least go for a walk. Like,
all
right. That we're getting sidebarred here. Last one. Jonathan added this one at the very end. Go to sleep.
Hey, it actually saves you time. Just go to sleep. There's less chance that you'll spend money on Amazon if you go to sleep. There's less chance you'll see something on Instagram that triggers you and makes it really hard to fall asleep. I think we all know the benefits of sleep.
Yes.
But let's talk about them anyway. And we'll be the first ones to say that, like, we're not immune to this. Like, we're not always excited to go to sleep. It's easy to get sucked into a show and be like, I'm just going to watch one more episode. Boom. There's another 30 minutes. There's another hour.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really see the consequence of that in the moment. That's morning guys' problem. But, you know, going to sleep has huge benefits, especially if you can accumulate several days in a row of enough and of quality sleep. I think we had another episode on sleep, you know, talking about things you should do to your room, you know, to get ready for sleep. We're not biohackers. We don't wear blue light sunglasses. We don't have blackout shades. We don't turn off all the lights in the house and sit in the dark for the first hour. We're regular people who are just prioritize our sleep in a normal way.
I will say the one thing that we have been doing differently ever since in Thanksgiving, we stayed in our trailer, and we had people in our house, and it was really, really cold outside.
Yeah.
And we didn't let the heater run because the first night we slept so good when it was so cold that in the house, we haven't been running the heater at night.
Yeah.
And we've just, like, the room, I mean, it's been getting down to like low 60s in the
60s.
house. And I have been sleeping so good with a super, super cold room.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really just comes down to, like, the sacrifice of you're getting down to where you know you should go to bed. Like, are you going to pull out the phone? Are you going to watch another episode? Just use it as an experiment. Try it for a week where you don't do it. Some of the things that can happen is your hunger will be less. There's nothing that will make you hungrier than a couple of nights of poor sleep. Your mood is going to be better if you get better sleep.
But you sleep pretty good.
What do you mean? Touche. I want you to think about, your performance in the gym is going to be better if you have better sleep. Your blood sugar regulation is going to be better. All these things that you already know. Think about it like this. Going to bed when you know you could just stay up and watch another episode is like paying yourself. It's like putting money in an account that you own that has a guaranteed return on investment for all those things that sleep improves. And every night you make a deposit, it's going to compound. And you're going to like the results of seeing that money in your bank account go up, that you're going to want to continue to do it. But it's going to take some discipline in the beginning. 7 to 8 hours is the goal. Try as hard as you can to make it a non-negotiable, not like if you have time, you go to sleep. Put it on your calendar if you have to. Set an alarm on your phone, like, you know, start to wind down.
Right.
People are like, I can't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Listen, even if you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, that means you only have to be in bed trying to go to sleep by 10 o'clock. That's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
If you can sleep until 6, that means you sometime between 10 and 11, you can go to bed. Is that not reasonable to think? Like, what do you want to do? Stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning every night, like knowing that you have to get up in the morning? It's not that hard if you just decide, like, okay, this is the time that I need to go to bed. Most people probably take 15, 30 minutes to fall asleep realistically. So if you're shooting for the low end of that 7 hours per night, you know, plan accordingly. Don't go into the bedroom and start your
7 hours
face
before
washing
you have
routine.
to get up.
Yeah, exactly. So plan accordingly. And just, I mean, I just think of so many clients that have prioritized their sleep and like, holy crap, this makes a huge difference. I'm making gains that I didn't think I could make. I feel better. My head is clearer.
This time of year is a great time to like start to like change this if this is something that you struggle with, because it is getting dark so much earlier.
It's dark at 4
that
o'clock.
Like you can start to like fast forward that nighttime routine a little bit. And by the time summer hits, you kind of like be into it. It's really hard to start this kind of thing in the summer where, I mean, it gets dark, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, now it's time for bed.
Yeah. I can't decide if I'm going to go cut the grass or go to bed.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Was that 7?
That was 7. We did
all right.
it.
So let's see. Let's recap. Let's go back through all 7 again. No, I'm just kidding. The 8-week physique program, be on our email list so you can be the first to know about when it's coming up. But it'll probably open up the registration will probably open up 2 weeks before Christmas, which is not this week, but next.
Yeah, so soon.
And the program will start on January 2nd. Of course, if you want to work one-on-one with us on a custom training program, you can reach out at any time. This is separate from these templated programs that Blakely writes.
Or both.
Yes. The new year is coming. It's going to get busy. I'm not saying we're going to like fill up on clients, but if you want to guarantee to get to work with one of us, then you should apply for coaching sooner than later. Go to our YouTube channel. Look at the effort Blakely's been putting into these videos of us training and jabbing at the camera.
And if you want to run 15 miles in December, drop us a line on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever. Just let us know you're in.
Yeah, sounds good.
Excited if anybody else is going to be doing it, or if they think we're wimpy for.
They're like 15 miles. You was. Hey, we got to be ready for this polar plunge 5K. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you next week.